Hey, it's me, Raika. Today we're going to have a look at the brand new Draconis hero, Gwyneth the Winged Vanquisher. Now, this hero wears plate-based gear, is part of the Ranger class, and a primary role is to provide a significant amount of single-target damage, control through her freeze effect, and self-buffs through her various skills and abilities. So let's have a look at her abilities. Her ultimate skill, Crystal Breath. Now, what will happen? Gwyneth will shift into her dragon form, fly over the battlefield, and deal massive amount of damage. So let's have a look. Gwyneth shifts form, knocking down surrounding enemies and dealing damage. In Scale Manifest, this is her dragon form, she flies over the friendly half of the battlefield, unleashing a fiery breath that deals multiple hits of a dragon speak damage and trigger a crystallization storm that will crystallize all enemies. So this is the freeze effect. While crystallized, enemies are immobilized and their haste is reduced. So they will be hit 5 times using this particular effect. They will be immobilized for 3 seconds and their haste is reduced by 40 points. During crystallization storm, crystals covering the battlefield will slow down the movement speed of all entities. Enemies that touch the crystals erupt them, inflicting damage on any nearby enemies and crystallizing them. So, what does crystallization do? It will freeze them for a couple of seconds when they have this effect on them. Each subsequent crystallization storm resets the crystals and increases damage dealt by their eruptions. Level 2. Gwyneth gains energy at the start of battle. This will be 400 points. Level 3. After triggering a calamity. For 6 seconds afterwards, the normal attacks of allies deal additional damage for 160 points of Gwyneth's attack rating and crystallize enemies. So this is a normal attack and not ability-based skills. Her next ability, Suppressing Fire. Gwyneth's normal attacks become 2-hit combos that prioritize the same enemy, and arrows explode upon impact, inflicting crippling jets of surrounding enemies and stunning them. So this stun will last for 0.6 seconds. So this is a small little interrupting their abilities. While Gwyneth's haste or attack speed won't affect her attack frequency or focusing time, they do enhance her attack rating. So this will be at a rate of 0.5 points for haste, and attack speed it will increase by 1% of damage. Level 2, damage dealt by each arrow is increased. The same is true for level 3. And level 4, the bonus is further increased for every point of haste and attack speed that she gets, for 0.8% for haste and attack speed for 1.6% of her attack rating. So this extra damage that she'll be inflicting single target to one enemy. Shattering Arrows. Gwyneth will transform her arrows normal attacks into shattering arrows that pierce enemies, knocking them back along the way and dealing relatively high damage. If an arrow passes through any crystal, it detonates the nearest crystal, supercharging the arrow with crystal power, which enhances its impact and causes the enemy's hit to become crystallized. Level 2, the damage is increased. The level 3, each time a shattering arrow hits an enemy, the cooldown time is reduced. And the level 4, each time shattering arrows hits an enemy, Gwyneth's normal attack is increased by 20% for the following time 5 seconds, and this can be sacked 5 times. So this can increase her normal attack or single target damage by 100% when she uses shattering arrows. And because this can pierce multiple targets, this can ramp up extremely quickly with a single shot. The next ability, Realm of Absolution. When Gwyneth receives damage from intelligence-based enemies, she becomes immune to that damage, and for the following few seconds, being 6 seconds, damage from intelligence-based enemies is reduced by 80%. This effect can be triggered one time every 12 seconds. Gwyneth creates a realm of absolution around her. So these are little stars that will be around Gwyneth where you can see where they are placed, reducing damage from intelligence-based enemies to allies within the realm by 30%. So if your allies are grouped up on top of Gwyneth, this will further provide additional damage reduction. Level 2 additionally reduces damage from intelligence-based enemies for allies by 35%. The level 3, this is increased to 40%. And for level 4, reduces the interval for triggering the effect to 9 seconds. So this is from 12 to 9 seconds. So every 9 seconds, Gwyneth can become immune to damage and gains damage reduction when non-intelligent enemies within the realm deal damage to her. So those are all her skills and abilities. Let's have a look at how she does in battle. So we will start off with the training dummy over here. Now, Gwyneth over here likes to be in the back line. So these are the little stars. So if your allies are within range of Gwyneth, they will have additional damage reduction from intelligence-based enemies. As we can see, this is the focusing shot. There's the piercing arrow. There we go. There's the focus. There's the additional piercing shot. There we go. It pierced all of the enemies at the same time and dealing massive amount of damage to them. Now, every single time, she'll slowly knock back, interrupt, or stun the enemies, providing a massive amount of control for your allied heroes. So let's have a look at her ultimate-based ability. Now, she'll fly into the air with her dragon form, and then she'll detonate all of her crystals, as we can see over here. Now, the enemies are frozen. Then she can detonate these crystals as well each time she uses one of her arrows, as we can see over here. But the enemy, once they are frozen or step over the crystals, they will use up these crystals on the battlefield. So each time Gwyneth uses her ultimate, she'll refresh all of these crystals, allowing her to continually freeze the enemies on the battlefield. As we can see, brand new crystals have appeared and now they are freezing enemies. So let's have a look at how she does at a much higher level deficit. So this is a 240 level deficit, and as we can see from all of these battles, she does a tremendous amount of damage irrespective of the team that she's currently in. Now, from this particular team, we can see that she managed to outdamage many other allied heroes that deal a lot of damage, such as Awakened Belinda. So let's have a look at how she does. Now, she is quite squishy, so I would highly recommend placing her on the back line. Now, in addition to this, she does not like it when enemies are too close to her, so it is best to place her on the back line, protected by a sturdy tank, and this will allow her to deal the maximum amount of damage, buff herself, buff her allies, and allow her to deal that damage to the enemy targets. Now, as we can see, she's constantly freezing, piercing, and stunning the enemies with her various abilities. So what is the minimum investment that I would recommend into this allied hero? Now, similar to other Awakened heroes, I would recommend going for 30 SI, 9 furniture, and 60 engravings. We will have to wait and see how impactful her 40 signature item will be on her. However, because this hero does a tremendous amount of damage and she can become your main damage dealer, it might be advantageous in the later stages of the game to invest in a signature item so she can get that extra edge over the enemies.